He talked about we're seeing the finish line in terms of gas, another big global issue, I mean, for governments around the world, but 2014 we've heard African governments are prioritizing job creation. And our good friend, probably mutual friend potentially, Duncan Niederauer, when we met with a number of heads of state in New York, he basically talked about this Jobs Council and the competitiveness report that President Obama put together. And he was saying that the continent would do well to steal a few pages, to use his words, to steal a few pages from the report to stimulate job creation on the continent. You were the chair of that council. Just share with us which pages you'd recommend.
So it's a great question. So the first, I would agree with your premise. I think there's not enough jobs in any country around the world. But one of the things that really hit me this week is just the number of kids in these countries. So I was in Ethiopia, Kenya, Mozambique, and Nigeria this week. And the number of college students is growing, but the number of jobs for those college students aren't growing fast enough. So you have not only underemployment among all classes, but you have people with college degrees that are not walking into it. So you need job creation. So now let's talk about, I'd say what I learned working with President Obama on the Jobs Council were 4 things that I think are true in every country around the world. The first one is the importance of training and education. So you need more engineers, you need more skilled manufacturing workers, absolutely key. The second one is a laser-like focus on small and medium-sized business. So growing the entrepreneurial class, growing the startup businesses, that has to happen. The third is a real sense for infrastructure, so electricity, railroads, bridges, roads, that is key to driving competitiveness and productivity. And then the fourth is just sensible regulation. Everybody needs rules, every country wants to have rules, but you need to have rules that make sense and promote job growth. So those are really important. Now, let's come to Africa. Of those 4 things, I think every country in Africa needs those 4 things that I just mentioned. But one that I would pick off is that every government should have a real plan for small and medium-sized business. That's where the jobs have to be created. There needs to be a growing entrepreneurial class. For us in the United States, when we create 1 job in the United States, we create 8 in the supply chain, so that you have that multiplier. In Africa, you don't have a sufficient entrepreneurial class yet to pick up for that multiplier effect. And that's how jobs get created.
Well, I think from what I understand about GE's approach, you're really also bringing up in the continent a lot of the sort of SMEs and the project developers and your supply chain, which is...
We had a meeting today in Nigeria with our key suppliers that we're localizing here in Calabar. We brought our suppliers here today. We're a company that likes working with small businesses, both on a buy side and also on the sell side. So we very much appreciate that relationship. And I think we view that as a skill set. And that's one of the things that I think we try to bring to the continent of Africa. An observation I would make, and I'm always learning every day, but I really think that corporate social responsibility of this era is SME development. In many ways, it's important for companies to give to poverty, healthcare, things like that. But the true skill companies need to bring is competitiveness, job creation, innovation, and that's really the most important thing, I think, on the continent right now.
Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.